Well, first I want to talk about the good stuff, and let's talk about the home run derby and the All Star game coming up. Um, Nelson Cruz from Texas Rangers, excellent job, man. I thought he did a great job. Got into the finals, but Prince Fielder was too much. He was feeling it, and he beat him. But he Nelson Cruz held it down for the Rangers. That's 2 years in a row we've had a Ranger in the final. Last year had Josh Hamilton, who just blew away in the first round, but was really putting on more of a show than competing. And Morneau got it. Congrats to him. And this year, Prince Field got it outright. And so congrats to Prince Fielder. But Nelson Cruz did a great job. Especially, think about Nelson Cruz, who he was probably the most unknown guy. I mean, unless you're a Texas Rangers fan, you're probably don't really know much about Nelson Cruz. I wasn't very surprised by his performance. I mean, I've seen it all season. He's one of our top home run hitters, and so I wasn't that surprised. But he was one of the more unknowns on the in the home run derby this year. And he really did this on about 3 days of preparation because Torrey Hunter got hurt, so Nelson Cruz took his spot in the All Star game. It's no, Torrey Hunter's an angel. I hate to see people get hurt, but he is an angel, so I don't mind taking an angel's spot. But I do hope Torrey Hunter gets better. He is one of the better players in the league, just not good enough so that he can beat the Rangers. Hopefully not. But and then also of the Rangers who made it, of course, Nelson Cruz because of Hunter got out. Michael Young made it, of course. He's the consummate professional. He's gonna make it almost every year. And then there's Josh Hamilton, and Josh Hamilton made it purely on fan vote because of last year, because of his story, because of his inspiration and whatnot. And he was out for 4 to 6 weeks. I can't remember. I think he was almost out for that whole 6 weeks, and doesn't have the stats to really solidify that spot. But people voted him in. But at the same time, Ian Kinsler did not get in, and Pedroia jumped him, and I think Pena jumped him too. And I hate that. I'm a huge Hamilton fan, but just for the fact of production this season, I would rather see Kinsler in there over Hamilton, just because Hamilton's been hurt and Kinsler's really produced and played like an All Star this season. But can't complain too much. Got 3 Rangers in the All Star game, and as I said tonight, as you can have seen, Texas Rangers have done pretty well in All Star games lately, home run derbies and during the game. Been pretty good assets for the AL. But let's talk about the Texas Rangers here at the All Star break. Right now, we are a game and a half back of the Angels, and we have a 2.5 game lead on Seattle, who took 3 or 4 against us this past series. Now, before this series, we had been undefeated against Seattle, but Felix Hernandez and the rest of that pitching staff really showed up against the Rangers. But still, Texas starting pitching staff did a good job as well. Closing, not so much, and I've said it. Rangers fans have been saying, man, C.J. Wilson, the dude is a detriment to the team lately, man, and he's had some good games. There's been a game when we played the Yankees where he struck out Jeter on 3 pitches. The guy has the ability to be really good, but so many times, more often than not, he usually costs us the game. I mean, against Felix Hernandez, everyone talks about how great Felix Hernandez pitched, only holding the Rangers to 1 run. But Hunter came in there and held him to nothing. Darren O'Day came in for relief, held him to nothing. But Cruz comes in. That's not C. Cruz. C.J. Wilson comes in and gives up 3 runs to lose the game in the 8th. And that kind of stuff. That stuff really, really hurts you, and really, these wins are going to start really counting later on because we're in a very tight race with 3 teams in the AL West. And of course, the Angels are ahead. And the thing is, the Rangers have really done their job against the AL West. Especially, look at the Angels. We had a series earlier in the week at home against the Angels, and we took 2 out of 3 against them. Then we go to Los Angeles, and we take 2 out of 3. We did what we needed to do against them. And then we go into Seattle, a team that hadn't beat us all year, and we drop 3 games and drop behind the Angels. Who the Angels, I can't stand the Yankees, now I can't stand them even more. The daggum Yankees couldn't beat the Angels once to help us out, but we swept Tampa Bay. We've really been hot and cold lately, and and I don't want to get too hard on the team or get too hopeful or anything like that, because as a Texas Rangers fan, you're used to not really being in a race. You're used to not having much to look forward to after the All-Star break. But this team, you do. This team is in a legit pennant race right now with a three-team race, and a team who legitimately can win this. I mean, if you look at our record against the AL West, it's awesome. We've dominated overall. But, we ran into a tough stretch. We had to play the Yankees on the road, had to play the Red Sox on the road, had to come home and play Toronto, had to play the Dodgers at home at one point. Actually went to one of the Dodgers game. We got beat in Game 3. So we've had some tough games, and we. What I am happy about the team is that we haven't turned into the really sucky Rangers. Now, if you guys are Rangers fans know, the Rangers in past years would drop 13 out of 15 games. We haven't done that yet. I think our longest losing streak has been 3 games. And at one point lately we had a 5 or 6 game winning streak. So the pieces are there. We have an awesome lineup, I think, but they're not always consistently hitting the ball. And you can't always rely on that. But what gives me hope is that the games we're losing those games 3-4, 3-1, 5-3. Low scoring games rather than losing 13-11, 15-8, 14-6, where we're forced to score runs. When you look at the scoreboard and you see that we're not giving up that many runs even in our losses, that means the pitching is getting better. I have all faith in this team that even if we're struggling to hit, and some of the guys are having a slump right now, they'll get that back. But the fact that the scores have been low means that our pitching and our defense has vastly improved from years past. That gives me hope that this team could possibly make a run into the playoffs and keep this AL West race interesting. But right now, we did not come in very, it's kind of, we came off a bad series against Seattle. And so going into the All-Star break, it is kind of a downer, though we probably do need this break. Here's what I want to see. The Rangers still are a game and a half back of the Angels. Very manageable, very close race. We're still in this. But here, as a Texas Rangers fan, and all the Rangers fans know, this is crunch time. This is show me time. Okay, Rangers, you played half a season of good half baseball. Now you got another half of baseball. In the past, you've always faltered. Last year they did that. Years before, it's the All-Star break afterwards is where the Rangers usually fall apart. Will this team not fall apart? Will this team continue what they were doing before them and possibly get even better to jump and possibly get into the playoffs? What I really want to look from this team is not even to make the playoffs. If they don't, if they make the playoffs, man, that would be awesome, and that'll make my season. Keep this race interesting. Keep me as a fan interested in this race as the season goes on. Don't fall like last year when the Angels just blew everyone away and were ahead by 17 games early after the All-Star break. Let's not let the Angels run away with this thing. We are good enough. We've proved it against the Angels that we can compete against them. Let's keep that up. So everybody enjoy the All-Star game. Hopefully another Ranger tomorrow can come through and win the game. So another Texas Ranger showing up in the All-Stars. But also afterwards, time for the Rangers to show us fans something. If they are for real or if they're just another half-a-year wonder. We'll see. But go Rangers. See you guys later. Hey, and congrats Nelson Cruz for putting up a great shot. But Prince Fielder, you got the win.